I'm going through it and I feel like venting. So I've been with my husband since 2019, together over 6 years, married 2 years. It's almost my 2-year anniversary. And operating a business together for over 4 years. And 3 weeks ago, he violently, physically assaulted me at work. And if a description of that is going to trigger you, I recommend you stop watching now. He shoved me down on the concrete floor multiple times, hit me in the face, kicked me in the ribs multiple times, and stomped on my back. And it's not the first time he's assaulted me, and it's not the first time I called the cops. But when he stopped beating me and I realized I wasn't dead, I called the cops again because I didn't think he was gonna stop this time. Unless, so he left right after he beat me. He beat me at work. He left, he came back almost immediately, less than 10, 15 minutes. And I asked him if he was sorry because I was holding on to this idea that he was my husband and not a monster. And he looked me in the, I'm trying not to cuss, I'm sorry. He looked me in the eyes and he told me that he wasn't sorry because I deserved it. And I would learn not to question my husband anymore. You want to know why he beat me? I asked him if he was cheating on me, and he denied it while he was beating me, after he beat me. Guess what? I was right. He's been cheating on me he's been having affairs and committing adultery for so long of our marriage and our relationship prior, and I just didn't know. And the craziest part is, and I don't know why this part hurts me the most, it's just like so much grief to get through, but it's been less than 3 weeks and he's already got her in my house. And I chose not to be in my house directly after everything happened because of how violent he is and all the threats he's made against me before. And I just... 3 weeks feels so long, but also so short. And, you know, you hear about how long getting divorced from people like this and the legal process takes. And I just don't think you can appreciate it until you live every day like it's a year and you're just waiting for anything. I'm just so tired, and it's just, I keep having to remind myself that the person I'm grieving is who I thought I was married to, not who I actually was. But dang, it doesn't make it feel better, does it? That's it. I just wanted to vent. I'm tired and I'm sad and I'm mad and I just want a little bit of peace, you know, and I can't find it right now.
Oh my gosh, I just wanted to come on really quick and say how truly overwhelmed I am by how kind people are and by how supportive people are. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has said something kind and supportive. It has just been such a light spot in an otherwise horrible and unimaginable situation. So truly, truly, thank you. The main question and kind of concern has been, you know, am I safe? Am I removed from there? And I just wanted to make that so clear. Well, first of all, thank you for caring. And second of all, I am. I have been gone since the day it happened. You know, police report, ER, packed my things with the cops and left. I am gone. I've been gone, and I will stay gone. I will never again with that man. So, oh my gosh, and I could have never posted something like I posted earlier today if I was with him. Like, oh my gosh, no, I am safe. I'm surrounded by family and friends, and you know, emotionally and mentally going through it, but physically so grateful to be safe. But Thank you. Thank you truly so much to everyone for your support and your kind words. So at the end of the day, the person that I really hold accountable for the adultery in my marriage is my husband, because he's the one who is married to me, who made vows to me, and who should have never made himself available to another woman. So I was going to leave anyone else involved out of it. And the woman I mentioned in my main post that's been getting a lot of attention, that he's been committing adultery and cheating on me with for months, that he's moved into my house in the 3 weeks since he domestically violently assaulted me, just commented on my post. So I'm going to put that in right here. It is so vile on just a base human level that another woman can hear what he's doing to me. Clearly, the type of woman she is obvious because of the way she's been fine, being with a married man the whole time. So, I guess it's not that surprising. It's just wild to me. So I'm just aghast that someone can be so comfortable trying to take over my life. I don't know. It's just the level of delusion is horrible people find horrible people. And I'm so glad that is not my mess anymore. And in regards to her saying I filed immediately, I was looking for a way out. Let me be so clear. That man had nothing when I met him. We built everything together and I loved him. I forgave so much abuse over the years because every time after it happened, and he's been begging me to come back since this most recent time. I mean, it's just every time he apologized and said he was sorry and wanted to get back together, I believed him. And I loved him so much I was willing to forgive him. So yeah, this last time when he did it and I thought I was gonna die, I left. And I made sure I didn't leave myself a string back to him, and that included filing for divorce pretty quickly. And thank God I did. Thank God I did. So anyways, I'm blown away by the audacity of this other woman to try, and she's already taken so much peace from me. Why are you still here? Anyways, my mind is blown. I'm sorry, I'm fuming mad right now at the audacity. I don't owe anyone proof, much less the woman that's been screwing my husband behind my back knowing he's married to me. But let's be so clear. There are multiple police reports in place for the abuse he has against me. There is public record you can look up and see where I filed for the protective order against him because of how violent he is. You can see the arrest for assault family violence. And you know what? When this is all said and done, I'll show you the police reports. I'll show you the footprint and handprint bruises that I had to go to the ER for all over my body from this most recent one. I'll show you the fingers on my neck from where he tried to strangle me 4 years ago. It's just the audacity is beyond me. And you know what? For shits and giggles, here is where he is trying to get me to come back to him. Beyond me.
Hey guys, story time on how I fell out with a jealous territorial girl who was never my friend, part 1. So since the girl got on here and got on TikTok and said my name, I guess I'm going to include everybody's name that's in this whole entire story. So we really have just me, Parker, and Vajay, the girl that I'm not cool with anymore, which is Vajay. 2023 is when I met Parker. Prior to this, her and Vajay were cool for like 1 year. So this is really all based off of Parker. Our friendship was based off of Parker. Characteristics of everybody. I really don't have nothing nice to say about Vajay. So I'm going to just say Parker is a social butterfly. She has a lot of friends. And Vajay, on the other hand, she's like bipolar. She's very territorial over Parker. And so as soon as I stepped on the scene, I felt like from her, I felt like it was an issue. So all of her like TikTok reposts would be like, oh, I just want my own friend. Oh, I just want this. Oh, my friend is da-da-da. My friend is doing this. My friend is doing that. Cool. I am also a social butterfly. I also have a lot of friends. I'm also outgoing. I have a name for myself, unlike some. But that's neither here nor there. We were in a friend group 2023. 2024, me and Vajay ended up falling out because I told Vajay that she's Parker's friend, which first day of school, that's who I was introduced to Vajay as, is Parker's friend. So of course I'm gonna say that's Parker's friend. Like, the person I talked to the most out of everybody was Parker. So of course I'm going to say that you're Parker's friend. Like, you're no, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, okay. So boom, 2024, I guess we put our differences aside. I'm not sure how we talked about it, but we put our differences aside and we became a trio in like the middle or end of 2024. I don't really remember the real dates. I just know we were a trio in 2024. Now we are in 2025, and 2025 is when me and Parker had our first and only fallout, and it was over a really stupid situation. She said on TikTok that I was dogging Parker out when we were both dogging each other out in the group chat, which we should have never spoke how we felt in the group chat, but Parker thought she was blocked, so which is why she was speaking in the committee. Like, we had this group chat called the shitty committee, which is why she was typing in there. We ended up falling out over a real stupid situation, and we were not friends for like a cool like 5 months. Within the span of that 5 months, me and Vajay were cool, I guess you could say. But Vajay, like, you could tell like she was happy. Like, she was happy when we weren't cool. Like, she was happy. So boom, here comes September, and I'm like, I miss my friend, like, I miss Parker, and we need to talk it out. Like, it was never that serious. Like, the stuff I said, of course I'm gonna say some stuff, and she said some stuff. We were both angry, and we both had feelings, and of course, as a real friend, I'm gonna tell you if I feel a certain way. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. So of course, anything that I need to say, I was gonna say it. Like, okay, cool. So September, I'm like, I miss my friend. Let's put our differences aside. Let's talk about it. Vajay also swiped up. I could put a screenshot here, and she was like, yes, y'all need to become friends again. But she in this TikTok talking about some, I was dogging her out. Okay, cool. Okay, boom. So we get to October 2025, and this is when Manville's homecoming was. Park and Vajay go to Manville, and I was going to go to their homecoming because I was at LSU for mine, so I couldn't go to my school's homecoming. And so I'm like, okay, this is going to be our first time all back together. I'm so excited, da-da-da. We all went to Chili's before we went to the party. And so I'm thinking, you know, I'm in a good mood. Parker's in a good mood. Vajay, on the other hand, she's just sitting there. She's not talking to us. She's not doing anything. She's just sitting there. She eating, but she not saying nothing. So before this, Vajay texted me, and she was like, I'm not feeling well, da da da. And as a friend, I'm going to suggest that you stay home if you're not feeling well. I'm not sure why you're not feeling well. You didn't tell me why you weren't feeling well. You just told me you weren't feeling well or something like that. And I'm like, if you're feeling sad or you're not feeling well, stay at home. Like, don't come putting your energy on us. That's what I really want to say. Don't come putting your energy on me or Parker, and we're trying to have fun. We're trying to have a good time. So she was like, okay, it's fine. I'm going to just get drunk. I'm going to forget about it. Da, da, da. Okay, cool. So we were all supposed to ride together. Vajay ended up taking her own car. I rode with Parker, and we ended up going to the party. Now, why she got on here and said that stuff about Parker and how she was sloppy drunk is out of line, out of hand. If we trust you with something and it's a secret, why would you get on here on a national platform and tell everybody that she was sloppy drunk? So boom, I'm not going to get into the whole thing of what happened at the party because it's relevant, but it's really not that relevant. So cool. We all ended up talking about it, and we told Parker how we felt. We said that we were embarrassed, but it's like, it gets to a point. Like, Parker is one person. This is everybody's first time on earth. So we already spoke about how we felt. Vajay said she wasn't going to go to another party with Parker. I'm like, okay, cool. But they started planning for Halloween anyway, because this is the month of October. The day after the party, Parker had ended up sleeping over at Vajay's house. We had ended up telling Parker how we felt about the situation, how embarrassed we were. But it's like, it gets to a point of like, you keep repeating yourself. And Vajay, that's what she kept doing. She kept repeating herself. And it's like, everybody has been on this earth only one time. So you keep like, you live and you learn, right? So that was my whole moral and whole thing about the whole situation. So the day after, Parker also felt embarrassed. She also felt some type of way. And so she wanted to, like, hear people's opinions. And so she had added this girl in a call. And this is a girl that they work with. The girl wanted to hear the story. So I'm like, okay, I'll tell you the story. Now, the story went exactly how I just told y'all. And so what I didn't know is that they were being weird, and Vajay was on the other line, which Vajay could have been in the call with anything that I was saying. It's not like I was talking bad about her. It's not like I was talking down on her. All I said was that she was feeling down. Since I became friends with Parker, she hasn't liked that. And so she needed any reason to not be my friend anymore, and that did it. She said, oh, you told her I was feeling depressed. Mind you, this is the same girl that she is so-called replacing Parker with right now. So she was like, oh, you told her I feel depressed, and you told her this and that. Why would I tell somebody I don't know that you are depressed? And I don't even know that you're depressed. I said that you were feeling down, and I suggested that you stay home. This is relevant in the story because you came to Chili's before we went to the party. You were at Chili's acting out like you weren't talking, you weren't speaking, you were bringing our mood down. So me and Parker, we having conversation, but it's like we're trying to include you in a conversation. Since you claim that we exclude you from everything, we're trying to include you, and you're just being weird. Like, you're being weird. So after this, she ends up, we talk about it. I'm over here trying to fight for the friendship, because I feel like I've grown closer to Vajay while me and Parker weren't talking. And as soon as me and Parker get back cool and we go out, this girl don't want to be my friend anymore. Which, okay, I'm noticing, like, you don't like me for real. Like, you never want to be my friend. And that's how I was feeling from the whole situation. Like, she definitely wanted to cut me off. So after we talked about it, we apologized. I'm thinking, everything's cool. Let's start planning for Halloween. No, y'all, everything wasn't cool. This girl was reposting stuff about me. She had ended our TikTok streak. She had stopped texting me, and then she had tried to make another trio group chat and wanted to add the girl that I was on a call with. They had made a trio, and they went to the Halloween party together without me and didn't tell me anything. They were there in matching Halloween costumes and all of that, trying to replace me. But I'm not in competition with no girl. I'm never in competition over no friendship, over no girl, nobody, never in competition with nobody but myself. Come back for part 2. Hey guys, this is story time about how I fell out with a jealous territorial girl who was never my friend, part 2. So to my knowledge, me and Vajay were back cool after the homecoming situation. We talked about it. This is the end of the conversation after we talked about it. But after that, she didn't say anything else to me. She started planning Halloween with the other girls. And so I was just like, I kept noticing, like, you don't want to be my friend. So I just cut you off. Like, I'm not finna keep pushing and keep trying. I tried and I tried and I tried. You just didn't want to be my friend. And that's cool. You don't have to be my friend. I know you never liked me. I see you're so angry and intimidated by me that you're now on TikTok. So cool. Okay. So I cut Vajay off. Parker and Vajay were still cool. Cool. Like, okay, cool. Whenever we have a disagreement, we never, like, bring it in the middle, or we never, like, like, put us around each other. Like, we never do that on purpose. Like, it's never intentional. When I wasn't cool with Vajay, Parker still invited me to her birthday. I was there with the whole friend group that I wasn't cool with, and I still came and I still supported my friend without an issue, because I wasn't intimidated by any of them. I just sat at a different table, but I was still there at Parker's birthday, and I wasn't cool with Vajay. I wasn't cool with none of the girls at the table. I literally wasn't even sitting at the table, mind you. I also want to add that she got mad because I went to the Manville versus Shadow Creek girls basketball game. Parker didn't invite me to that game. I just so happened to be there. My friend Kendall wanted to go to that game, and so we went. I just so happened to see Parker, and I sat behind Parker. Parker told me you was coming, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna move. But I'm like, I'm not gonna let no girl make me move. So I stayed right where I was, and you had an attitude just as you had when we was at Chili's. Didn't say anything, didn't clap, didn't do anything like that, because you don't like me. And that's fine. You don't have to like me. I feel like another reason why she doesn't like me as much is because me and her have a YouTube channel. She's been having her YouTube channel, and I started YouTube a little bit after, but it wasn't because of her. I just wanted to start a YouTube channel. She got a camera. I guess she wasn't happy with how she was growing, and I feel like she's jealous because I grew more, and I'm just, like, more outgoing and more creative, which I feel like that's why she's jealous. I know jealousy when I see it, and every time I would try to bring it up to her and, like, say we need to get on our grind, like, we need to lock in, like, you need to be posting at this schedule, like, she would agree to it. But after a while, it was just like, okay, like, she didn't want to talk about it, like, okay. And so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna keep bringing it up to you. I just won't talk to YouTube around. I just won't talk about YouTube around you. So prior to the video that she recently posted on a secret account, I didn't see the video. Parker saw the video and she called me finna cry because she saw it, and I'm like, what? So she's just telling me what the girl Vajay was saying and what the comments saying and all of this other stuff. And prior to this, she was talking about us on a secret account before, saying doing that trend where it's like, oh, my friends is telling my business in a group chat call, laughing at me before I tweak out. That trend, which is like, the person that we told your business to, that I said you were feeling sad to, she making it this whole big thing, y'all, and it don't have to be that. She just don't want to be my friend, and that's fine. You can just tell me you don't want to be my friend, but then she tell me I can make whatever I want to make big. I can make, this is my life, da da da. Okay, cool. I'm not about to argue with you over how you feel. You can feel that way. Cool. So she's been talking about us on a secret account, been reposting stuff, and it just so happened to pop up on Parker's For You page. Now, the whole reason I feel like she made this video yesterday, the video that she made yesterday, was because she got mad, I guess, that I applied to the job that they work at. Now, her and Parker have been working at the same establishment for like 4 years. And so that's not going to stop me. Like, I need a job. Like, I'm not caring where I applied to. I applied to everywhere else. HEB didn't hire me. So, yeah, like, the place that they work at is 5 minutes down the street. Of course, I'm going to apply to work there. Parker job, it look like what she doing, it's easy. So, of course, I want to work there. I'm not going to let you stop me from doing what I want to do. That's like saying, oh, if I see Vajay in a store, I'm not going to walk in there. No, I don't care. I don't care. If I need money, I'm going to make the money. Like, I'm not caring. Parker felt that it was important to tell Vajay that I applied to the job. So she wasn't trying to be messy. She was just saying, just a heads up, Ariel did apply to the job, and so she might get hired. Like, that's all she said. Vajay didn't respond. And I just found this out yesterday when the whole story time happened. She didn't tell me. She didn't go back and tell me, hey, I told Vajay, da da da. She didn't tell me none of that. I just found that out yesterday. And so Vajay said that was messy of her, and why would she why would she have her apply? She didn't have me apply anywhere. I wanted to apply. Parker's not my mother. You're not my mother. Wherever I want to apply to is where I'm going to apply to. So it's like, who's being messy? And I didn't think it was that big of a deal to where you couldn't even stand to be in the same establishment with me. I didn't think it was that much of a deal. I didn't think it was that big or that big of a problem. But you're intimidated by me. You're jealous that me and Parker have gotten close, and you feel like Parker replaced me with you. And we've all been friends for 3 years. The only difference is that y'all have been friends for 1 whole year before me. Okay, cool. Now she on TikTok doing a whole story time about Parker and Ari. Parker and Ari this, Parker and Ari that. But she was so stuck up on me telling one person her business. But she on a national platform telling everybody how we fell out. Then she let in the comments hype her head up talking about she gonna slap somebody. And it's like, slap me for what? Talking about you'll be wrong if you slap. I didn't even see the TikTok, y'all. I just know that it's a TikTok, and I know what she said because Parker told me that's what she said. And she was up finna cry and all of this other stuff. And I'm just like, bro, like, this is out of control. This is out of hand. She's taking it too far. And now that's where I have to come in and tell my story. So, yeah, Vajay, I feel like you were jealous. I feel like you think ever since I started being Parker's friend from the first day of 10th grade, you have had an issue with me because me and Parker have bonded, me and Parker have clicked, and we have a good relationship with each other, and we honestly are like sisters. And I feel like that's why you're so angry. And you don't have to be. I'm never in competition with no female over anything. Never in competition with anybody. I just want you to know that. And I feel like you're in competition with me over a friendship, and it shouldn't have to be none of that. Nobody was trying to replace you. We were all including you. We were including you in everything. And so we also invited Parker. Let me know that she invited you to the Galentine's that she's hosting. You gonna tell Parker, why would you invite her knowing I don't like her? Parker's hosting, whatever Parker's hosting shouldn't be surrounded over the fact that you don't like me. So just because you don't like me, Parker can't invite me to her event. It's not your event. So talking about, oh, you were the co-host. Okay, and Parker's still my friend. Like, I can still be invited. Like, you just don't want me to be included. You just don't like me, and you're imitated by my presence. That's why you didn't want me to be invited to the Galentine's on the 13th. Okay, cool. She also doesn't want to go to Parker's birthday, which is in March, because I'm going to be there which I told y'all I've been to Parker's birthday when I wasn't cool with the girl. It's not like we fell out because I was talking about her in this big group chat. It's not like I told her business on like some like, yeah, she did this, she did that, she did this. No, I was telling a story about how we went to homecoming and she made it seem like I'm just this weird fake girl, and now she making me look like I'm the villain on social media when I could really take it there. I'm not the villain. You are just territorial over Parker. You don't want nobody to be her friend, which is why you're trying to replace Parker with this girl that y'all started working with. Okay, cool. Now you, Vajay, and the girl are at the establishment that I applied to, talking about Parker, around the employees, just like going at it when y'all know y'all could talk about it on the phone since y'all are so close and so cool. Y'all know y'all could talk about it outside of work, outside of where y'all work at, but y'all wanted to do it at work. Cool. Mind you, Parker was just walking with the girl, Vajay, on Thursday. So yeah, that's my story time on everything. I don't know if I said everything that I need to say. If y'all have any questions or any concerns, let me know. I would add the little girl, but I don't have her at, and I don't know the secret account's name. Like I said, I heard of the video from Parker. She didn't give me the ad. So yeah, I would have added her, but I don't know her ad. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my little story time. Comment down below how you feel, any questions, any concerns, and yeah.
Alright guys, get ready for your day from hell freshman year of high school. So you wake up and every morning your mom drives you to your friend's house so that you guys can ride the bus together because you don't like your bus. So on a specific morning, you and your friend get this bright idea. You know, you're just starting to get into the drinking, whatever. You're like, we should drink at school. Like, that would be so funny. Like, we'll put in some water bottles and, it's nothing crazy. We're drinking White Claws, but, like, get a little tipsy at school. Your mom wakes up late, so now you're really pushing to make sure to have enough time to pour these into the water bottles before you have to leave because you just have a full case of White Claws in your backpack. So, whatever, we're already in a bit of a rush. Your mom decides that she wants Starbucks. Now you're definitely not going to make it to your friend's house. You beg your mom to not go to Starbucks, say you really don't want anything, you're really not hungry this morning. She insists. So she's like, I'll just drive you to school myself. Perfect. So now you're on the way to the school, the very, very strict school that your mom's going to drop you off at the front door of, and you have a case of White Claws in your backpack. So you don't fess up to your mom. You just walk into school with them in your backpack, and it's pretty bulky looking, but you imagine you'll be fine. So then you decide to keep the plan going, and you go into the bathroom before class starts and pour some White Claws into your water bottle. So this is maybe your 4th time drinking. So you've had 2 White Claws now. You're low-key drunk. So now you're in Spanish class, first period, a little bit tipsy. You're passing the water bottle around to a couple of your friends. Whatever, all is well. Then you go into your 2nd period, algebra. You poured some more into a water bottle during passing period. You're pretty drunk now. So then you go to your 3rd period, and this girl asks if you're okay. And you've known this girl for a while, so you're like, oh, yeah, like, I'm fine, I'm just a little bit drunk. Didn't care that you hardly ever talked to this girl. A couple minutes later, you see the house office lady walking to your classroom, and you think, oh dear. Keep in mind, after you've been pouring these White Claws into your water bottle, you didn't want it to be suspicious by them seeing White Claw cans in the trash can, so you were putting them back in your backpack, okay? So now all empty cans are in your backpack. You pretty much drank all of them by yourself. So you see them coming, and you're like, oh no. You're outside of the classroom, and they say, Miss Tim, we need you to come to the office with us. So obviously you're not going to bring your White Claw filled backpack to the office, because they tell you have to bring your backpack. So you're not an idiot. You're drunk, but you're not an idiot. Well, you are an idiot, but... So you grab another random girl's backpack who you don't know. You've talked to this girl maybe 1 or 2 times, and you bring it down to the office. So they're going through the backpack. all of the folders, let's see, we'll call this girl Brittany. All of the folders are saying Brittany, Brittany, Brittany. Somehow they're not noticing. The same girl who you told you were drunk earlier and obviously has gotten you into, well, hasn't gotten you into the situation, that was your own doing, but she lets them know that in fact is not your backpack in the office. So what do? They tell them which one is your real backpack and they bring it down. So they they open up the backpack. What do they see? The box, all of the cans, they're just pulling them out. Then they pull out an Advil bottle and they say you're not allowed to have this. You start profusely apologizing for the Advil, like that was the problem that they were having. So now you're thinking, wow, what am I going to do? My mom and dad don't know that I'm drinking. They don't know that I've really done anything at this point. So they're like, we're going to have to call your mom and you're going to have to go to disciplinary school. Keep in mind, for the 3 years before this, you've been homeschooled and you've been in regular school for maybe 2 months. So then they call your mom. Your mom is terrifying. You just know what she's about to do to you whenever you get home. The school has confiscated your phone. So your mom later goes, well, first you get home, your parents start obviously like screaming at you, you know, beating your ass, you know, etc., etc. They tell you you have the chance to come clean about anything that you've ever done right then and there. You were born with lung conditions. They ask you if you've ever vaped. You tell them no. You're lying. So then your mom goes back up to the school and gets your phone and says, this is your last chance. I'm going to go through this. Let me know if there's anything that I'm not going to like. You tell her, don't worry about it, because you have all of the bad stuff saved in your My Eyes Only. So you're good, right? No, your My Eyes Only password is your birthday. So your mom obviously very easily gains access to your My Eyes Only. What does she see? Her little freshly 14-year-old daughter ghosting puff bars. Yeah, so now they're even more mad because not only are you doing stuff you're not supposed to be doing, now you're putting your health at risk. So after you're grounded for eternity, you also have to go to disciplinary school with all of the girls who were just in there from fight week that happened the week before. So now you have to wear a white collared shirt, khakis, and go to disciplinary school for the next 60 school days with all of the really bad kids, and you're terrified. You get there, Spanish is your first class, you ask your Spanish teacher for help. She doesn't speak Spanish. She tells you to Google Translate it. So now you proceed to do that for the next 60 days. Damn near flunk out of school. Your parents took everything away from you. No phone, no friends, no anything. You finally go back to school, have some social interaction. Every single person at school. Keep in mind, I went to Allen, so it's a pretty big school. Everyone there is calling you White Claw Girl. And that stuck pretty much throughout high school. All right, guys, I'm with Elle, who was actually there the day of the incident. She informed me that I did forget a couple of details. So while in second period, we had first and second period together. So she was with me all the way up until the journey where I ended up getting caught. And we were standing in the line at the door, and I actually just whipped a White Claw out in class. The whole can, and started pouring it into my water bottle in front of everybody. Everybody saw me. Luckily, that class was not full of many ops, because that is not how I got caught. And then, let's see, another detail I forgot is whenever they came to get me and told me to get my backpack, obviously I knew it was happening, I proceeded to ask her, oh, am I going home? You're going somewhere, babe. It's not home. Yeah. You're going to disciplinary school. The third detail I forgot to add was that I actually, whenever my parents confronted me about this whole thing, you know, you'd think that you can't lie anymore, but somehow I came up with a way and told them that my very, very nice of-age cousin had tried to frame me and put the White Claws in my backpack. And, so then they actually called and were like, hey, we know this probably isn't true, but, like, we just had to confirm. So I'm sure you can imagine how awkward it was to see that cousin. Yeah, sorry, Katie. You follow this girl. I'm really sorry about that. I obviously have grown up since then, but yep, that's a true story, guys. Oh, yes, guys. Okay. Also, LL brought this part out, too. Whenever I got down there, they said, if you tell us who you were drinking these with, we know you didn't drink these all by yourself, which I low-key did. So, but, you know, people had some tips. They're like, if you just tell us some of the other names, people that were drinking them with you, we won't give you as much time. And first of all, I didn't believe them, so I wasn't going to say anything. Second of all, you know, who was I going to snitch on? My dear friend Elle? Like, I don't think so. So then they, like, got, and they were like, you know, I got to Dillard, you know, I'm trying to make friends. Like, I'm terrified. Like, you know, like, I know they can fight, you know? And so they're like, oh, why are you here? Give them the whole story. They're like, oh, did you snitch on anyone? And I was like, no, like, obviously not. And she was like, that's what's up, girl. And then that's how I met my first friend in Dillard. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. My father also wouldn't talk to me for 3 days. And when he did finally talk to me, it was not good. Also, at this time, I was talking to this boy. And, you know, we're trying to, like, plan a hangout. Obviously, now I'm on lockdown. But I tell my mom it's very important that I hang out with this boy. Like, I have to. So, my mom and his mom coordinate a hangout for us at the local mall. Weird, first of all. Second of all, whenever we go to this mall, finally, we go to this furniture store and lay on this couch. The public couch. Also weird. Then, you know, we're hanging out, whatever. His stomach growled. He looked me dead in my face and goes, whoopsie daisy. Yeah, so that was just like another just terrible thing.
Okay, hey y'all, so I wasn't going to come in here and make a video, but since I'm not getting my $40 deposit back on no time soon, I'm on here telling my story about this unprofessional stylist. Yeah. So basically, on Saturday, the 14th of Valentine's Day, I decided to get my hair done by this stylist. She goes by the name of Style by Jai, Jaai. So I booked her or whatever. I had texted her prior to, like, before, like, the appointment and stuff like that, to see if she could do my hair and, like, do a reinstall for this wig, right, y'all? So I came or whatever on Saturday came, and my appointment was at 2:20, and she texted me, like, a little earlier, like, or the day before. She texted me, she was like, hey, do you think you come at 12:30 tomorrow? I'm like, sure, okay, that's fine, because really, I was really just thinking, like, you know, the earlier I get my hair done, like, I can do other things faster. Okay, so smooth. Of course, it's Valentine's Day, so pretty sure she had other clients. She did have other clients, because if she didn't, I would have never booked at 2:20. I would have booked earlier. So okay, that's understandable. It's Valentine's Day. Basically, she was like, "Oh, no, my Q coming 1:30." I'm like, "Okay, 1:30." She like, and then she texted me again. She was like, "No, Q come at 2:30." Okay, so like I said, my appointment's at 2:20. So I'm like, sure, that's fine, because at this point, like, it's like basically the same time as my appointment. So I arrived at 2:26. Well, I didn't arrive at 2:26, but I ended up texting her out that I was outside at 2:26, because I was literally down the street, like dead ass down the street. So I texted her, I'm like, hey, I'm outside, but I'm gonna read y'all the messages so I'm not getting nothing mixed up, y'all. So I said, hey, I'm here. This is at 2:26. She texted me back at 2:26 at the same time. She said, I was going to text you when you're ready. Well, when she's ready. I was going to text you when ready, love. How far you live from me? And she asked me this before, like, prior or whatever. I said, I live 18, but since it's traffic is 32, because I live in Atlanta, so the traffic is really bad. It's really bad, y'all. Especially today. Everybody's trying to do everything. You know, it's not something. So I said, I'm here already. How much longer do you think you will be? She said, okay, in 20 minutes, I hope. So I'm thinking, I didn't even know she was at where she does hair at. I didn't even know. I thought she was, like, out getting, like, maintenance done or something like that. Because, like I said, it's not something. So whatever. So she was like, I hope. I was like, you hope. So that was at 2:38. So I texted her at 3:10. Because I was sitting out there. So I said, hey, it has been 30 minutes. Are you on the way? She said, I'm here, but still doing here. Park in front of the building, pay the park. Let me know we're done. So she was there. I was like, oh, she was there. She was there the whole time. So my mom dropped me off, y'all. And my mom has a baby. So we were sitting in there when I was there. So it was like, yeah, I was like, do you have a lobby or something I could wait in or something like that? I would just sit and wait until you're done. Like, I didn't know you was there because I would have been asked. So I could just sit down and wait. So I'm gonna skip past that, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna also put this out there. I'm not bashing nobody or nothing, but the reason I didn't get my hair done on Saturday, it really wasn't my fault. But I didn't know. So basically, like, the wig was messed up, y'all. It was messed up, and it was balding. I did not know that, y'all, because I only wear it once. I guess because I had dyed it, and I guess the way I washed it, like, the hair came out, like, or the quality of the hair was really bad. Mind you, I got it from a vendor, y'all. I got it from a vendor that I work for. So I got it from a vendor. So usually vendor hair is supposed to be good. So yeah, that's why I did not get my hair done on that day. Okay, y'all. I just want to put that out there. So basically, end up leaving because I was like, "Is there any way like Q makes up this shape? Is there anything you can do?" And y'all, she couldn't like do anything, and which I was very understandable because she want her look, she wants her work to look the best, which was understandable because I don't want to look the worst either. I want to look the best. So if you can't do anything, that's fine. I have other wigs. Okay. So my whole Valentine's Day was messed up, y'all. It was it was messed up. It was so bad. So I ended up going home, going to sleep, or whatever. Before I went to sleep, I texted her, and I said, hey, can I come tomorrow? The traffic is bad right now. Well, tonight. And it's at 7-Eleven. She didn't text me back till 9:46. She said, hey, yes, can you send a video of the front of the wig and the inside, please? I sent her the pictures or whatever. And mind you, I sent her this at 7 in the morning, y'all. So she never texted me back. I was calling her. I called her like 2-3 times. She never texted me back or nothing. She never texted me back. So then Sunday come. I texted her on Sunday, same day. I said, what time do you think I'll come? This is at 11:10. No text back. I even put the question mark, whatever. So Sunday at 4:03, I sent her a message, y'all. Basically, I said I want to reach out regarding my appointment and my $40 deposit. I would like my deposit refunded. The overall experience felt very unprofessional and inconsiderate. You were extremely late to my appointment, and although I understand the wig was bald and that was my fault, that does not take away from the fact that you were still significantly behind. It was a bit inconvenient for me. There was a lot of miscommunication and lack of responses. I understand it was Valentine's Day and a holiday, but if you knew you were going to be that behind or unavailable, that you should have communicated clearly and ahead of time. I rearranged my schedule for this appointment and expecting better communication professionalism, which I didn't rearrange my schedule because my friend wrote me that. Because I didn't really know. Like, I want to be so respectful, and I want to go about it the right way. Because overall, I just want my hair done. Like, literally, I just want my hair done. I sent that for her through. She texted me back at 6:10. She said, hello, if you felt this way, why not mention before still wanting to come back for another appointment? You're more than welcome to still come get your hair done. But as you stated, it was a holiday. Other clients were late, so it pushed me back, and I hate that happened. But you did still come to the appointment, even agreeing to come at a time I asked you to come. If you couldn't, you could have just said no, and we would have went from there. If I know the time change would be a problem, we would have took a totally different route. But as you said that you could come later, that in your original time, I asked if you could come at a different time. I didn't tell you to. And she put like a period. So, really, the time change wasn't a problem at all. It really wasn't a problem. The only problem was the texting back. I just felt like she could have texted back. Like, really, it was really just the communication. It was a big lack of communication. So yeah. So I said, just want to clarify that the time itself really wasn't the main issue for me. It was much so the communication. I genuinely liked your energy and I would book you with you again. It was just frustrating not getting clear updates and responses. I wasn't trying to be difficult. I just expected better communication. I do still want to get my hair done and I appreciate you and I just want to be honest about how I felt. So what is the earliest time I can come tomorrow? So this was on Sunday. She didn't text me back till Tuesday. She said, hey, love, I'd rather just send you your deposit back. I hate that your experience wasn't what you were expecting. It definitely was a lot going on that day. You could just request it back from where you sent. So, really, I didn't want the money back. I just wanted my hair done, y'all. I really just wanted my hair. She kept talking about Saturday. I don't care about Saturday anymore. Saturday passed. It went away. Like, it went away. So, it's really like, okay, can we get back into present day, not the past? So I said, hey, love, I really appreciate that, but I still want to get my hair done with you. I just rebooked for today at 4:50. I totally understand that day was busy. No worries at all. I also have a funeral tomorrow morning, so I was trying to make sure everything worked out. So same day on Tuesday at 5:36, I texted her. I said, hey, can I still come, queen? Like, I'm trying to be so nice, y'all. And I'm still a teenager, by the way. So I said, hey, I'm here. Can you still do my hair? So, y'all, she did not text me back until I got to her appointment, her place of work, and rung the doorbell. And she seen it on the ring camera. She said, hey, I'm not home right now, but I definitely took in consideration what you said and when you wanted deposit back. I can definitely find you a stylist, though, or I can do early tomorrow morning. I said, it's okay, man. You just sending me the deposit back. Thank you for trying to work with me. My cash app is da-da-da. She never said nothing. My job, that was on Tuesday. So yesterday, I texted her. I said, hey, can you send me the deposit back? Because I ended up getting my hair done or whatever by my main stylist. I seen yesterday as well that she declined my request. So I'm going to show y'all that. This is her declining my request. So I said, I don't know if you wasn't sure if this was me, but I just want my deposit back. I asked respectfully the first time, and I hate the fact that I even have to ask a third time and keep bothering you about it. But after seeing you decline in May, I just have my deposit back. You told me, you would rather just send me my deposit back, so I'm just asking for what was already agreed on. And she never sent it back. So yeah, that's it, y'all. That's all. I just want to share my story.
When I was 7 years old, my mom decided to tell me that my father, the one who I made a few posts about, that he actually wasn't my biological father, that my biological father had died in a car accident. Actually, he was on his motorcycle and got hit by a drunk driver when she was 6 months pregnant with me. My mom decided to wait to tell me that until my dad did not pick me up for the weekend. My brother and I, we had our bags packed and our coats on and we were ready to go. And my dad was a no-show for his weekend with us. And, you know, obviously my heart was broken. So my mom, you know, she tried to use that story as kind of like leverage maybe to say, hey, this isn't so bad because he's not really your biological father, which that brought me no comfort at all. You know, that actually just made me more confused than I ever was, which was how I felt a lot as a child. So about a week later, my dad picked us up for the weekend. He did show up that weekend and he took us to McDonald's. And as we were eating, he just kept looking at me like, what's going on with you, kid? And he said, hey, Jesse, what's going on? You got something on your mind? And I said, yeah. Mom told me that you're not my biological father. Like, you're not my dad. Like, my dad died in a car accident and his name was Tom. And he just looked at me for a minute and I'm sure he was just thinking, what do I say? And he took his French fry and he dipped it in the ketchup and he looked at me and he said, well, if it doesn't matter to you, it doesn't matter to me. And he took a bite of his French fry. And that, that made me feel so relieved because immediately I was like, he still wants me. And I just said, hey, it doesn't matter to me. So that's it. That's the last time we ever spoke about it. It was at McDonald's over some French fries. And I think at the end of the day, what I look back on is that it didn't matter to him if we shared DNA. He was my dad as much as he could be with being an addict. And, you know, even though my mom tried to use that story to maybe bring me some level of comfort, maybe just get back at my dad for not showing up that weekend. I don't know what that was about, but my dad used it as a moment to let me know I was his. And I think that there's something powerful to be said in being chosen. So if somebody's not your biological parent, but they chose you, that's huge. You know, that was huge for me. And you know, my dad and I, we had a very tumultuous relationship throughout the years, but I'm thankful that at least up until sixth grade, he did show up for me, you know, here and there. And even though I wasn't biologically his, he claimed me as his own. So I'm thankful for that. So part 2 of He's Not Your Real Dad is the part where I talk about who my actual real dad is. And just like in the last post, I said his name is Tom, and my mom, you know, told me a little bit about him throughout the years. And when I was about 22 years old, I thought to myself, I really want to know more about this person. I really would like to know what he looks like. So I asked my mom a couple questions and she told me about his friend Neil, who lived about an hour away from us. So I got Neil's phone number from the phone book and I gave him a call and I said, hey, Neil, I know you don't know who I am, but my mom's name is Gail and she was pregnant by your childhood, you know, best friend, Tom, when Tom passed away on his motorcycle. And he said, oh my goodness. I always wondered if she had a boy or a girl, so I guess it's a girl. And
that just made me laugh. He was a funny guy. So we got to talking, and he said, you know, I would love it if you and your family came up and I could show you some stuff of Tom's. I have quite a few pictures of him from us growing up throughout the years together. I've got some of his shirts he used to wear. I've got some of his vinyl albums. I have a lot of stuff I like to share with you. So my husband and I, you know, we packed up our little family and we headed up to Neil's house for the day. And as soon as I knocked on the door and he answered, he just looked at me so funny and just had a huge smile and was just kind of shocked. And he said, "You look exactly like your dad," and gave me a big hug. And that was so comforting because, you know, my mom had told me I look exactly like my dad, but you know, to hear somebody else say it was a totally different story. So we went inside and he got us something to drink, and, you know, he handed me a picture of my father. And when my father passed away, he was 27 and I was 22 at the time. So we weren't too far apart in age. When I saw that picture of my dad, I was just in shock. I just thought, wow, okay, that's where I get my features from. This is making a lot of sense. So it brought me comfort to know, you know, that there was once somebody out there that I look like, I share DNA with, and it was just a special moment. And then Neil sat and told us stories about my dad, and it was just cool to hear about his life. You know, my dad was into automobiles and motorcycles, and he spent most all of his free time working in a chop shop that him and his buddies, you know, lived above it, and they took Harley Davidsons. And back in the 70s, choppers were a big deal, and he was part of that chopper movement. He was a fine line painter and an artist, and he would paint a lot of the tanks. He was one of those guys that was painting the naked ladies and painting all the different psychedelic, you know, colors from the 70s. And just, I got to see a lot of his work. He was published in Easy Rider magazine. He had won a few awards for his motorcycles that he chopped up. And so, yeah, it was a great time. But one of the best things that I got from my time with Neil was the information about Tom's sister Mary. And in the next post, I'm going to share how it went when I reached out to my Aunt Mary to let her know that she has a family member that she knows nothing about, 22 years after her brother had passed away. So that'll be my next post.
These birds will not stop chirping. It is the middle of the night, so my tuchus scurries over to Google. They're seeking mates. It is just like men to be all up in my shit at 12:30 at night trying to find a hookup. Silence yourself.
Part 3 of Your Dad Is Not Your Real Dad takes me to the part of my story where I contacted my biological aunt, who had absolutely no idea that I existed. Again, I was 22 years old when I made this phone call to her, and I'd gotten her number from my dad's childhood best friend, who I had just went and met the week before. And so I had her number, and I was just trying to gain the courage to make a phone call and just trying to figure out what to say. I mean, how do you come across to someone when they don't know you exist and you are their family member? Like, first of all, is she going to believe me? What are her thoughts going to even be about that? How is she going to accept the conversation, you know, when I started? So anyhow, I just got enough guts and just thought, Jessica, just wing it. I mean, just do your best. So when she answered the phone, I said, hey, you know, I know your name is Mary. I got your name from Neil, and I'm not really sure how to say this, but your brother was my father. I was born, and, you know, I gave her the year I was born in, and I let her know that, you know, I was calling because I wanted to make connection, but I wasn't calling because I wanted anything from her, from the family. I wasn't sure. You know, my mom had told me, you know, they're wealthy, you know, they live on a golf course, and their name is well known in their town, and there's a park in the town named after them, and their grandfather and his brothers owned a jewelry store, and there was just lots of talk about things like that. But, you know, I wasn't calling because there was anything I wanted. I really just wanted to know who she was. And, she had already, you know, the previous years before that, she had lost both her mother and her father. So by the time her only sibling passed away, she was left with no family. So here I am calling and saying, hi, you know, you have family, and your brother never told you that my mom was pregnant, because, you know, my mom told me it was a secret. He was kind of ashamed about it, and he wasn't telling a lot of people. So if Neil wouldn't have known, I'm not sure where I would have gone with this whole story and trying to figure out who my biological family is. So anyhow, I got all that out on the phone conversation, and she said, well, I'm not really sure what to say. I'm working out here in my garden, and as far as if Tom, you know, had anything, Tom, when he passed away, he had nothing. So there's nothing to offer there. And I'm just really taken aback. I haven't heard anything about you. And I said, you know, okay, that's fine. You know, I understand. And perhaps we could just share emails and we can stay in touch that way. And she said, okay, you know, and she gave me her email address, and I was free to email her. But I mean, when I got off the phone, I just felt like I had the wind knocked out of my sails. And the thing about that conversation that made it so hard is she was not expecting the conversation, nor did she have any proof that the person on the other side of the phone, you know, call was even telling the truth. So, you know, it was the 70s. It was hippies. It was free love. My mom was a hippie. You know, Tom kind of had a hippie vibe, and there was a lot of things going on, you know, in the 70s. So anyhow, I just kind of decided that day that I was going to lay it down. I wasn't going to try to contact her again until I got enough nerve or decided what I really wanted to say, or maybe I could show some proof. I really wasn't sure where to go with it, but I'm going to do another post because things turned around about 11 years later when I reached back out to her, and Facebook was a thing. So by that time, you've got a picture, you know, with a name. So anyhow, that will be my next post, and just stay tuned for that.
The fact that maybe possibly you think I could pull Shawn Mendes.
So the final part about my dad is not my real dad takes me to my actual real dad's family and my aunt, and meeting her and connecting with her. And so how that went down was, like I said on the last post, I reached out to her and she had no clue that I existed and no proof of existence. So that phone call didn't go like I had hoped. But when Facebook came out, I reached out to her on Facebook. I put her name in. Immediately the city and state she's from came up. I knew it was her. I sent her a message and said, hey, me again. You know, would you like to connect? I'm still looking for connection and, you know, hoping to find my family. And she immediately responded, you know, the same day and said, hey, I saw your picture and I have no doubt that you are my brother's daughter. You look a lot like him. And you know, I'm kind of in shock, and let's communicate. So we communicated back and forth, and she was so kind and so open and so excited about me and my family, and it really could not have gone any better. So her and her husband made a trip to the state that I lived in to meet us in person, and she brought a whole bunch of pictures and different memorabilia, you know, just different things from her childhood growing up. And I got to see my dad, all the different stages of his life, and all the cars that he worked on, and some of his motorcycles, and just things that were important to him. And I got to see my grandma and grandpa, and that was so cool too. And, you know, just pictures of Mary and my dad when they got to go on their family vacations on the lake at the house that they had up in northern Michigan, and just memories and beautiful things that she experienced as a child with my dad. And that just brought me so much joy and so much comfort. And I don't know, I just loved being able to experience all that with her. So when they left, we continued to stay in contact, and we decided that we were going to take a DNA test because, after all, it was the 70s. Like I said, you know, maybe my mom was confused on who was the dad, so we needed to make sure. So we took a DNA test just to give us each some sense of, you know, understanding that this is absolutely true. We are related. And it came back that we are related, and that was good for her. And it was also good for me. It was good for her family, because here's this person just popping up out of nowhere. So it gave everybody just kind of a peace of mind. And so our relationship took us next to her hometown. We both traveled to the state of Illinois, and I got to see the home that they grew up in. I got to see the city park that has our last name. I got to see the jeweler where some of our family members had a jewelry business. I also got to see the country club, the golf course that my grandfather's name was engraved in. And I just got to experience what it was like to grow up in this city and what it was like for her and my dad. And I also got to go to my dad's grave with her and just stand there and just kind of take in that moment. And it was a sad moment, but it was beautiful to just be standing there with her and just thinking things have really come full circle for me. And she made that happen. You know, she made that possible for me. She took that time, and she's always made me feel very important and very loved. And, you know, what's crazy is we have so many things in common, and I was not expecting that. You know, she has a degree in counseling and worked with teenagers for years, and she did that full time as her profession, you know, with a degree. And I did it on a volunteer level, but I absolutely loved working with teenagers, and I did it for a lot of years. And I love bringing them hope and telling them, you know, my story of coming from a broken home, but, you know, rebuilding and building your life. And she just was so supportive in the things that I was doing and the things that I've done in my life, and just being there for me through hardships and through the good times in life. So anyhow, that's it. That's the end of my story about meeting my biological family. And I have another visit that I just planned, my actual first visit to her hometown in Colorado. So we're gonna do that, and I'm really looking forward to it. And every time I see her, it's just like more pieces of the puzzle coming together for me and just feeling complete. So thanks for listening.